Hey everyone, welcome back to the Martingale Emerging Media Minute or Two. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that everyone's tired of hearing about, COVID-19. We're going to specifically be talking about the infodemic, which the World Health Organization defines as an overabundance of information, including false or misleading information, in digital and physical environments during an emergency. This clearly applies to COVID-19 because during that time, there was such a mass influx of information on social media that unless you were an expert or really skilled in looking at media and determining what is true and what is false, it was hard to discern what was factual and what was more of a myth. This was and continues to be a really serious issue because social media is one way that health officials are able to spread information to the entire country and the entire world. Now, last week we talked about digital literacy, and this week we're going to shift that slightly to talk about e-health literacy. Now, that is defined as an individual's ability to seek, understand, and appraise health information from electronic resources and make informed health decisions for addressing a health problem in everyday activities. Unfortunately, a lot of people lack in their e-health literacy. I'm definitely no expert, but because of my media background, it helps me to better discern what is correct and what is false. Unfortunately, I had an encounter with someone around my age who was convinced that he could not get the vaccine because it would cause him to have fertility issues. Ultimately, I ended up sending him articles from the CDC and other health organizations to show him that there was no known link between fertility issues and the vaccine. This is an issue that was really prevalent in the last 2.5 years, so different social media organizations started partnering with health organizations in order to better filter out fake news and stop the infodemic. A 2020 article by Noor M. Hidley and Jawad Faris, published in the Journal of Public Health Policy, outlined a 12-step checklist to help combat the infodemic. I'm going to go through a few of the ones that I found to be really important with you. The first point on the checklist really stuck out to me. It was provide more exposure and airtime for medical professionals, scientists, and public health personnel to provide authentic, useful, and transparent information for the public. This was really important to me because I was able to consume news that frequently had Dr. Fauci or other medical experts, and I think that that's really important in bridging that gap between the people who are making decisions for us and conducting research and the flow of information to us. It takes out a lot of steps and makes you know that it's more accurate. The second point that stood out to me was to share personal experiences on social media to combat misinformation. This can be really helpful because people will believe their own friends. So if you say your own experience with the vaccine, they're more likely to believe you would think, than some random person on the internet. However, I do think this could have a harm in the fact that some people do have adverse reactions, and if you saw one person on your social media ended up having hives or something of the sort, then you might accidentally attribute that to a way larger group in the population than it really is. The last point on their checklist that I wanted to highlight says to direct health communication strategies towards minority populations and people of different classes, races, and ethnicities. The COVID-19 pandemic disproportionately harmed the Black communities in the United States. When we are setting up these media initiatives to directly stop the infodemic and stop the spread of fake news, we need to be considering which parts of our population are being impacted by the pandemic more than others, and make sure that they are getting the resources to combat the infodemic themselves. That's all I've got this week. My challenge for you is to consider how you will combat fake news on your timeline, whether that's coming from a random person or somebody in your family. Is it the same? Does it vary? Consider your game plan and try to implement it next time and see if you can make more of a difference rather than an argument. Thank you.